This is a proclamation from the Women's Equality Day Committee. Whereas the women of the United States have historically been treated as second-class citizens. Yeah. Second-class citizens! And have been denied the full rights and privileges, public and private, legal and institutional, whereas available to the male citizens of the United States, male. Whereas the women of the United States have united to assure that these rights and privileges are available to all citizens equally, all citizens. Whereas the women of the United States have designated August 26th, the anniversary date of the certification of the 19th Amendment. Yay! 19th Amendment! Which accumulated in a 72-year non-violent campaign to extend the right to vote for women as a symbol of the continued fight for equal rights. Yay! Equal rights! Whereas the women of the United States... Use the vote! Yes! Whereas the women of the United States are to be commended and supported in their organizations and activities. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Women's Day Event Committee, as part of the Lily Dale Assembly, recognizes the communication of that day, the commemoration of that day in 1920, on which the women of America won the right, they 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 won the right to the vote as equal opportunity for all citizens. All citizens.
Unity and community!
Citizens. Thank you.
Unity and community! Of women.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Well, I have to say, in the 6 years this committee has been active and we have read the proclamation every year, we have never had enthusiasm in coming back. So we are extremely grateful for everybody who has turned up here today. My name is Celeste Elliott. I am the 2023 Women's Day Event Committee Chairperson for Lily Dale. I'd like to take a minute and just introduce our incredible committee. If you would like to kind of gather around, we've got, of course, Margaret Ferris, who was just up here, Joanne Mansfield, Carol Corwin, Marianne Steiner, and Deborah Pfeiffer. And these are the women who put in lots and lots and lots of work over the last many years to come to this point. So we are thrilled to be here all together, particularly because we just, we were supposed to be done in 2020, and we said, now we're having fun. And, and we like each other, and this is important, so we kept going. So, so thank you so much. I would like to take the opportunity quickly to just acknowledge some of the wonderful people who have showed up for us today. We have Bonnie Mahoney and Bonnie Kane Lockwood from the Office of the Governor. We have Andy Goodell. We have the League of Women Voters. Roxanne Astry. Yes, thank you so much. We have women from the Fenton Museum, Jane Babinski, Janet Wahlberg, Sandy Hatfield. We have the Georges from the CBC in Casadega, and Nancy Wickmark from the Red House. And these are all people that, and of course we have our Lily Dale Important people here as well. We have the president of the board. We've got Bill White. We've got Belinda Fetty and Javi Richards. And thank you so much for coming out and supporting us. Michelle Barr, because I'm blind apparently. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for coming out, everybody.
Excuse me, you have the mayor here also.
And I knew I was going to forget somebody, and of course, it was somebody very important. So yes, Bill Dorman, and your wife Vi. Thank you so much for coming out as well for Casadega. We are honored to have all of you here, truly. So I'm and Ron Nagy, our historian. Of course, we have to run to him consistently with questions, and we double check and make sure that our facts are straight. So the Women's Day Committee has been in existence here in Lily Dale since the first picnic on the grounds, the first camp season. Off and on, it was consistent through 1920 when women got the right to vote. Now I did manifest good weather, but I forgot to talk to them about the wind. So thank you. It's all good. Okay, and you know, we are very proud of our history of women being very equal from the very beginning, not only in spiritualism, but in the Lily Dale camp. Women in Lily Dale helped form the first fire department. We helped take down the trees and clear the land and build the houses and the tents before they were permanent buildings. And our first speaker was Elizabeth Lowe Watson, a well-known suffragist, and and it was the camp itself was originally named by a woman, by Mrs. Amelia Colby. So we have a real legacy here, and you know, the big part of the early existence here living in the camp, everybody was politically involved, and because Chautauqua County and Western New York were a hotbed for political change, and getting equality for so many people. So the women's temperance movement, of course, the women's suffrage movement. There are so many people in the Lily Dale camp that belong to the Women's Equality Club, which is how we got our incredible and notable speakers. Marion Skidmore, who was said to be the mother of this camp, because she put all of her time and energy into it, was a part of the Women's Equality Club in Casadega, or in Chautauqua County, and she was able to go and hear Susan B. Anthony speak at Chautauqua Institute. And when Chautauqua Institute said, "No, she's too radical for us, we don't want her back," we snatched her up and brought her to Lily Dale, and she came for many, many years to speak, along with Elizabeth Cady Stanton and many others. And she was a great friend with Marion Skidmore. In fact, she even did an obituary for her after she passed that was in several of the newspapers nationally. So, you know, we have such an incredible history here. You know, when you hear that this very auditorium was festooned with the colors of the women's suffrage movement, the purple, the white, the gold, and 3,000 people came out to be in attendance to see Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton speak, amongst others, Dr. Anna Howard Shaw and Katie Chapman Catt, and it just boggles the mind, right? And our fire code now is 1,000 people, by the way. So, so we're not going to try to recreate it exactly, but and the first dollar for the political party that Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony founded, which is now the National Organization for Women, was earned right here in Lily Dale. And that's amazing, right? So we have the opportunity to share that history. We have the opportunity to let people come and be a part of that and open up a dialogue for what's next. So it is the Pomeroy Foundation that has given us that opportunity. And okay. And I would like to, they are a foundation that works with blood donations and also historical markers. It was named in honor of William G. Pomeroy. And I would like to just very briefly read their letter to you all, because they couldn't send a representative today. So. Congratulations from all of us at the William G. Pomeroy Foundation on the celebration of your National Votes for Women Trail historical marker. We're sending warm greetings from Syracuse as you commemorate the 1891 Women's Day hosted by the Lily Dale community. With this historical marker, you illuminate Lily Dale's important contributions to the advancement of women's suffrage. Lily Dale is part of a select group of communities from across the United States that tell their women's suffrage history with markers founded by the Pomeroy Foundation. National Votes for Women trail markers are well researched with primary sources reviewed by professional historians. That is what sets the Pomeroy Foundation markers apart as the gold standard of historical markers. And it goes on to tell the story of the Pomeroy Foundation. Darren Pomeroy is the gentleman who founded it in his father's name. Just for brevity, I won't go into it completely, but we will put it up on our Facebook as well. I will stop hogging the limelight here in just a moment. We also had another honor recently, and I will let Dr. Shelley Takai take it from here and tell you about that. So.
Hello everybody and welcome. I'm just one representative. Certainly, I'm speaking for others. There was a group. And speaking to you about the fact that coming in this February, it'll be 2 years that Lily Dale was recognized, the whole community was recognized to be on the National Historic Registry. And I guess I was the first person who, in 2016, just reached out to the National Historic Registry to see, can this happen, and what do you have to do? I connected with a lovely woman named Frances Gubler, who really walked us through the whole process, which started in, as I said, 2016. The very first thing we had to do, as per her advice, was hire people who would write the proposal, which was 125 pages that included descriptions of every house, pictures. It was way beyond anything any of us could have done on our own. But that was submitted, and the thing that I found most fascinating was that when I contacted them, and then she also had me in contact with others who were there too, they were as thrilled or more thrilled than we were that we were applying. They were delighted. They had said they had waited and waited for us to come forth. So finally that happened, and then last fall, I think last fall in November, we also, now that we were on the National Historic Registry, got an award for recognizing the community effort to help us get there. our very next step is that we have to submit a planning grant, because if you just look around, there's an awful lot of stuff that we could start writing down about with the planning grant, like where do you start? And we need a cultural historian to help us and an architectural historian. So we're not quite there yet, but that will be our next step, and then hopefully Lily Dale will just be, once we get it all in, the recipient of government money that will help us preserve what we have now.
Okay, so as I said, we have some very special guests with us here today. So I would like to call on Bonnie Kane Lockwood, and she is the Western New York Regional Director for the Office of Governor Hochul.
Thank you. Surrounded by history, I had the honor of a few weeks ago being at the Fenton Museum for their 60th anniversary gala. Shout out to the leaders of the Fenton Museum. There was a wonderful man I met there, a volunteer, and I said, how long have you been involved with the museum? He said, well, I've been doing research here for 30 years. I said, how much more can you learn? But what I'm learning is there's always more to learn about Chautauqua County. I became the governor's regional director in April of this year after being retired for 2 years from Congressman Brian Higgins' office. And in 2005 to 2013, the congressman represented Chautauqua County. So on a personal level, it's great to be back with our partners in government, Assemblyman Goodell, representatives from County Executive Wendell's office. You certainly have a strong team of people in Albany and locally that work hard on your behalf each and every day, including our governor, Kathy Hochul, who is so delighted to be invited to this important occasion and sends her regrets at not being able to be here with you in person due to scheduling demands, as you can imagine, as required of the first elected female governor of the state of New York. I know. I so agree. I expect that Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Anna Howard Shaw, and other noted suffrage leaders who appeared at Lily Dale would understand, but say, what took so long? It was 1891 at the annual convention of the National American Women's Suffrage Association when delegates designated New York as the banner state and Chautauqua as the banner county. And just a short 130 years later, in August of 2021, Western New York's own Kathy Hochul became governor of New York State. Another banner day. And I would say she would agree that today is a banner day as well, as the significant contributions of this historic gathering place is acknowledged nationally, both physically with a marker, digitally, I understand, with a searchable map, thanks to the National Votes for Women Trail, a project of the National Collaborative for Women's History Sites, and the support of the William Pomeroy Foundation. Way to go, Bill, on the support. You know, there's a line from the musical Hamilton, who tells your story? And thanks to the persistence and determination of all the driving forces who made today a reality, the individuals, organizations, funders, those savvy, strategic women memorialized today, who without any social media, fueled a social justice movement. A movement whose work, we all know, is never done, as our governor and millions more continue to champion the fight for women's rights today. But it is you who are telling their stories. It is you who tells the stories of the leaders who came before, those who carry the torch today and are inspiring the leaders of tomorrow. Let me conclude with words from the governor. In 1848, bold women set out on a path for equality and changed the course of history, not just here in New York, but across the nation and around the globe. By demanding equal rights, they lit a spark that continues to inspire all of us today. In New York State, we were, again, ahead of the curve in giving women the right to vote in 1917, 3 years before the 19th Amendment was ratified. So as New Yorkers, we have so much to be proud of. Please. Thank you. We are living in one of the most progressive states in the nation, and we are living out the legacy of leaders who started the women's rights movement. So thank you to all those who made sure that these transformative movements and the meaning behind these remarkable accomplishments aren't lost to history. And on behalf of Governor Hochul, thank you for telling their stories. Thank you for including us in today's program. Now I ease away. So grateful.
Thank you so much. And next we have actually two folks here from the county executive's office. Justin Gold, who is wonderfully filming for us, and we also have Lauren Ryan. And Lauren, would you like to read the proclamation?
Yes. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, County Executive is unable to be here today, but he sends his... oh, sorry, can you not hear me? Unfortunately, County Executive Wendell is unable to be here today, but he sends his regrets. He would have been honored to have been here. And in recognition of this dedication ceremony for your plaque, it's this historical honors marker that honors women including Susan B. Anthony and Anna Howard Shaw, who assembled in Lilydale, drawing a large crowd during Women's Day celebration in August 1891. This marker highlights Chautauqua County's notable contribution to the women's suffrage movement. So congratulations on behalf of the County Executive's Office.
Okay, and we also have, in the flesh, Andy Goodell. Andy, would you... and he also has a proclamation for us. Thank you.
Good afternoon. What a great day here in Chautauqua County and in Lilydale, isn't it?
It is. It is.
It's a historic day
It is.
as we reflect and honor history. And for those of you who don't know, I'm here as the Assemblyman. Although at home, I have a different title. It's Director of Maintenance and Repair and Assistant Manager. I had the good fortune of marrying a very, very smart, capable woman whose only flaw was her taste in men. And as we reflect back on where the women's suffrage movement has been and where we are now, we can recognize the incredible progress that's been made and the challenges
Still to be made.
still to be made. Once again, a woman is helping me with my speech. And I will share with you that on the floor of the Assembly, our mission is to be surrounded by the very best people we can find, the most competent, capable women. And it's no accident that the majority leader is a woman, Crystal People-Stokes. It's no accident that our legislative head, legal counsel, Michelle Plegri, our assistant floor leader, Mary Beth Walsh, and the progress that's being made is incredible, and the progress that we still need to make is ahead of us. So, in my capacity as Assemblyman, as opposed to Director of Maintenance and Repair, and on behalf of all my colleagues in the New York State Assembly, it is really my pleasure to present a certificate recognizing this historic day, Lily Dale Women's Day, and the incredibly important role that Lily Dale played in changing history. Congratulations.
Let's get her done.
And it occurred to me when I introduced him, I forgot to tell you he was an assemblyman, but I assumed you knew, so sorry about that. Okay, so we have now come to the portion for the actual unveiling. So if you ladies would like to come help. It is covered. We have this incredible cover from the Pomeroy Foundation, but we also had this incredible quilt that Joanne Mansfield handmade, and that honors the suffrage history. And so we wanted to use this today. Okay, you ready? Oh, and by the way, I got to make a flower pun because around the pole are black-eyed Susans. So. So you'll notice we are one of 200 to be allowed to receive this honor, and we got in under the wire at 175. We're quite proud. So. So this does commemorate the speeches on women's suffrage by Susan B. Anthony and Anna Howard Shaw, as they drew large crowds to the auditorium during Women's Day in 1891. So, thank you. What? No. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, thank you all so much for coming out. You're welcome to take photos with the. Yes. Right after we do, we get up first, and also with all the folks that showed up in costume, they are ready as well. So, okay. Thank you so much.